Dino D and Yumi YouTube channel, American in the Philippines. So please subscribe, click the like button, leave a comment. There she is, she turned around for the camera. Now she's going to lay down, she's getting lazy. Alright, so updates. About my pension, my Social Security payments. So they said they set a one-time payment out on March 24, but they also say it could take 7 to 10 days. Hey, can you get down? Camera hog. She's stealing the camera here. Oh, there she goes. Here in my mouth. Alright, so today is March 30, I think it is, Thursday. So today's the 5th day, so hopefully I get the pension soon. So April 3rd is when they're going to get me my next pension payment. And so I'll have like a double payment. I had to sell my laptop on the cheap and my motorcycle on the cheap to have money to survive. But anyways, that's what I did to take care of that situation and pay my bills. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about, I have a video here about how the United States and the Philippines are coming together to help defend against the aggression of the China. They're out there illegally fishing in the West Philippine Sea, sending and harassing ships out there. So without further ado, let's move to the video.
U.S. and Philippines open new airbase to bring in U.S. military aircraft near the South China Sea. The Philippine ambassador to the United States, José Manuel Romualdez, has stated that the Southeast Asian country would allow U.S. forces to use its military installations in a conflict with Taiwan. However, the only caveat is that such permission will be granted if it is crucial for the security of the Philippines. Nobody wants to have any kind of war or confrontation, Romualdez told Nikkei in a recent interview. We want to ask both countries to lessen the tension by having more dialogue and then trying to resolve all of these issues because it's in our part of the world, he added. According to Romualdez, former President Rodrigo Duterte had shown a willingness to allow American soldiers to use his nation as a staging ground in the event of a Taiwan conflict. However, there was no discussion on the same during his tenure. This could change under President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos if the diplomat's comments are anything to go by. It is pertinent to mention that the Philippines has become more significant from a geopolitical perspective as the U.S. military tries to distribute its forces along the so-called First Island chain, which runs from Japan to Southeast Asia. Romualdez claimed that Manila and Washington were negotiating to expand the number of Philippine military outposts that American forces could use. The U.S. is permitted to keep a rotating military presence at 5 locations in the Philippines owing to the bilateral Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement signed in 2014. Our military and the military of the United States are all looking into the possible areas, Romualdez said. Additional bases may include a naval base, he said. The U.S. Department of Defense fears that American forces in Asia lack sufficient logistic capabilities to refuel and rearm in a regional military confrontation. Using the Philippines military base would help the troops with a much-needed logistical footprint against the PLA. Currently, the U.S. bases its forces as a part of the Visiting Forces Agreement (VFA) on Philippine-controlled islands in the Scarborough Shoal. It would also align with the U.S. Marine Corps Force Design 2030 that envisages small, mobile U.S. Marine Corps units spread out across the first island chain and on islands controlled by friendly nations in the East and South China Seas to undertake long-range fires on Chinese military and air assets. Romualdez's statement comes almost a month after the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reassured the Philippines that the U.S. would defend the country if it came under attack in the South China Sea. At the time, Blinken declared that a defense agreement between the two partners was ironclad. Since 2009, Beijing has attempted to bolster its claims in the South China Sea, and ties between China and the Philippines have steadily deteriorated consequently. The Philippines can no longer construct oil and gas projects or engage in commercial fishing in the disputed areas, thanks to Beijing's overarching claims on the entirety of the South China Sea. In November 2021, the Philippines defense minister accused China's Coast Guard of harassment and intimidation. A Philippines-based military analyst Miguel Miranda told Eurasian Times, "In the event of hostilities between China and Taiwan, the United States will likely establish an air bridge to the island and, in doing so, broaden the conflict to encompass the whole of East and Southeast Asia." A viable conduit for this airbridge is the Clark Export Processing Zone in Luzon, which used to be a major airbase designed to support strategic airlift and bombers, exactly the role it played during the Vietnam War. It's also possible other airports in the Philippines are used clandestinely. Besides strengthening its military relationship with the U.S. and assuring support in the South China Sea, the Philippines is interested in the Taiwan Strait stability. A conflict over Taiwan would threaten the unhindered movement of goods by air and water around the Philippines. At its most fundamental level, a Chinese invasion of Taiwan would have significant geographic repercussions for the Philippines. Just a few miles away from Japan's closest island, the northernmost islands of the Philippines are located 190 kilometers from Taiwan. This might expose the Philippines to the effects of a humanitarian catastrophe, including refugee outflows. According to the American think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies, one of the drill areas stretched into the Philippines' exclusive economic zone when China conducted live-fire military maneuvers in early August. Therefore, a conflict also has security repercussions for the Philippines. This is the bedrock of its willingness to help the U.S. Romualdez also stated that Manila and Washington are discussing extending the number of Philippine military outposts available to American forces.